Hey out there in Watchline, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe, please hit like, and please share, and let's get my subscribers up, please. I want to break 10 grand, 10K subscribers, please. I keep making watch videos, I keep trying to do the right stuff, I keep trying to entertain, keep you guys entertained at night when there's nothing on Netflix, there's nothing on Prime, there's nothing on Disney Channel, there's nothing on Crave TV. Oh my God, every time you sign up for one of these things, you got to pay another 10 bucks a month. It's getting really expensive. I think a lot of people out remember when you just put the thing on your TV and you had the two things going out like that and you went like that, and somebody said you just put a piece of aluminum foil and you just tune with the aluminum foil. The hell was that? That was back in the day. So today I did a lot of work today. So I did some work on that Waltham watch that you saw earlier. I worked on that pretty hard. Still trying to think of what I can do. This is drying right now, so that little baby here on the back, it's drying, so we'll let that dry for the day. I don't want to play with it until that shellac is dry. I'm still waiting for a balance staff for a really nice high-grade watch. Let me show you what this looks like. There it is there. I'm waiting for the balance staff for this watch. This is a beauty. I'm going to put that back together once I get the balance staff and I'm able to stake the staff back onto the balance. Do some balance stake staff, and I'm going to put this thing back before I lose it. Put it back before I lose it. All right. Stop playing with your toys. All right, there we go. And then I'm just going to ask you, what the heck do you think this is? What do you think this is? What is this? It's a little bit rusty. And this thing goes around and it's knurled, and it is a what the heck is this? And there's the bottom of it. Look at that. This is pretty interesting. No one knows what the heck it's for, but man, it must be of some use. I'm gonna have to clean this thing up. Plus it weighs a ton. That is pure stainless steel on this thing. Look at that. I'm gonna clean this thing up because it's pretty cool looking. And it goes way back. Now I worked so hard, I skinned my knuckle. That's how hard I worked. What did I do today? I did watch work first thing in the morning. Then I went outside, and my wife asked if I could make sure the hose was connected properly. And of course, the metal thing that you put in through the wall in the garage, the threads were stripped, not good. So, and I had one of these sockets you put on, like to screw it on. Then I had another socket screwed onto that one. And then I had the hose, and I had a clamp, one of those clamp things you screw in. And so what I did was I screwed this in. It was still stripped. I screwed it in as far as I could. Then I put plumber's tape around and around and around and around through the little groove that was left over. Then I took one of those what do they call them there? Those things you put over top, and there's a screw, and then they tighten like that. And they're made of aluminum or steel or something. And you tighten it, and I'd put one of those on. And by golly, after doing that, doing the other thing, putting the thing, no leaking. No leaking. I told my wife, if I end up, if this thing strips and I'm retired, I'll be able to just fix it because I'll have lots of time to screw it up. So anyway, what are we going to do today? We're going to disassemble this beautiful old pocket watch. So I'm going to flip over and stop talking. So thanks for all the support to my channel. I really, really, really appreciate it. I like doing those videos where I bring something like crazy thing up like this and go, what is this? What is this? I have another one that's even crazier that I'll have to show you. I'm going to do a what is this video right after this one because I got a device that you guys will never guess what it is. Never. You see that guitar in the back there, right there? That guitar? That was my very first guitar that I got for Christmas in 1968. I think I got it in 68. It's from Japan, and it was in a Sears catalog, and I still don't know the name of it. It still works, and it's a piece of crap. Actually, it was pretty good at the time. I was able to play Smoke on the Water and other songs that nobody likes. So anyway, let's get on with the watch repair, and I'll stop talking. All right, let's just get on with this repair job. So this was sent to me. It's fully wound. Another watch that the guy was watching Arnold Schwarzenegger, True Lies, and decided he would wind the crap out of this watch. It's a really nice old Elgin pocket watch. It's got regular indices on it, or like numeric indices. I'm not sure those are not Roman numerals. They're numeric. I gotta put my glasses on here because I can't see a darn thing without them. So there we go. So now I've got the glasses on. So I've got to take this thing apart first. It looks like it's in pretty okay condition, I guess. The crystal looks good on it, and the face doesn't look too bad. And the movement, you can just open this up a bit and have a look at the movement. And there's the movement. It's not a high-end movement, but this gentleman has had this watch in his family for many years, and he would like to see it running again. So it's going to be pretty tricky to actually take the power off this watch because of the amount of force that's been put on this thing already, right? So let's see if I can set the hands on it. See if the hands will set. It'd be nice if they did. And I'll just pull this out here like that, and the hands do set, so that's good. So I'm going to set these hands to 12 o'clock before I start working on this watch. So let's just bring these to the 12 o'clock position. And I'm using two cameras here. I'm not sure if that's of any use, but there we go. And there's the 12 o'clock position. They're not too badly aligned. And I'm looking at the case here, and there's no groove here for me to remove the bezel here, the inner bezel, but I don't think I'll have a problem. So I got plenty of tools that help me do stuff like this. This is my medium end tool, I think. The high end Bergeron one is over somewhere else, but this is a medium end one. Not sure what the, what does this say anyway? Calaboe Gongs Jew. Oh yeah, the old Gong Jew movement. So I'm gonna just get my, this in here somehow. See if I can get some action on this thing. It's sometimes tough to remove it if they don't have a groove, right? Well, I got the thing is underneath it, which is nice, so it should snap off now. Come on. It's up a bit. Just gonna go over on the side here and just work my way around. There we go. Sounded bad, but it's no problem at all. There it is there. And the crystal needs to be re-glued. So that's of no consequence. That's easy to do. This looks glass. Yeah, that's definitely glass. So I gotta watch it and crack that, but it turned out good, so no problem. I'll just move that over to the side. And there we go. And now I've got the hands. I'd like to remove the hands before I start working on this watch. So what I'm going to do is move the hands over to this position here. And this allows me to grab the hands without getting anything in the way. And I just put a sheet of plastic on the top here, like that, and get my hand removers. I probably don't need the really big ones for this watch, but they give you a nice, a lot of leverage, which I find is nice. And also, they're wide, so they're less likely to crack the actual face of the watch when you're doing that. So just going to move those out of the way here. Sorry, apologize for the hand. And then the little one, I have other hand removers for the baby one. So this can be tricky, this one here. And I need to focus on this, so I'm going to come in again like this. And I don't think I've got room to put the plastic sheet on there. I'm just going to be very careful when I go underneath and then go straight up like that. And there we go. There is the second hand. Look at that. And I'm just going to put that on my mat as well. So now that's done. And you can see there's a little bit of, there's marks on the, little kind of corrosion or something on the face right there. So I'm just going to get an older piece of Rodico out so I don't mess up one of my newer pieces of Rodico, and just see if Rodico will help me take that off. I'm not sure if it will. Try my fingernail. Yeah, the fingernail worked. Rodico didn't. So I can see if I can remove some of that stuff later and see how successful I am. What I don't want to do is remove the paint. I remember years ago when someone said, hey, use the dental cleaners to clean off your watch, and it should work really well, right? Dental cleaners. And I said, oh, I'll try that out. And I tried it out, and it ruined the face. The face disappeared on the watch. I was like, damn. Now, it was my watch, so I wasn't super upset. But I find a piece of, just a little piece of pegwood, and you just scrape that around. And I can sharpen that or just take it off. And so we'll work on this after. I want to get this watch into the cleaning machine, but it would be nice to get rid of some of these scrapes on the face, right? And I think a piece of pegwood is probably the best thing you can use. It's porous, it's not super hard, and you're not going to crack the face. You see how that little rust thing is starting to go away? So I pegwood the heck out of that, and then I can Rodico it and see if it'll remove the rest. And a fingernail is not a bad tool as well. Just your own fingernail. That's why I play guitar, so I can keep my fingernails long for watch repair. There we go. So that's that. Now we'll move to phase 2. And here we go with phase 2. It's funny, there's a fingerprint on the back here. I wonder how old that fingerprint is. It's probably really old. But the Rodico is amazing. It's how it's able to just remove some of that stuff. If I need to, I could use lighter fluid as well to take some of that off. And I also have Peak, which I've used in the past, but Peak will remove a bit of gold with it. So it's better to leave these old watches looking vintage, and the owners actually like them looking vintage, I found. So again, years ago I used to polish the crap out of the watch and thought I was doing a great thing, but it looks pretty good there, doesn't it? And really the owners were like, yeah, it just doesn't look like my great-grandfather's watch anymore. But you see how the Rodico just takes these little blemishes off. There's like a little rust blemish on the end there, or corrosion spot or something, and you just press down with the Rodico, and I'm able to remove that nicely, right? Now the case seems to be a bit tight on the case seems to be a bit tight when I close it, but it's probably just excuse me while I attack this and you're not seeing what's going on, but I'm going to try to get this piece of corrosion off the side here, and it's almost gone. I don't want to stress the hinges on this as well, so I'm trying to keep the weight off the hinges of the watch. But now, so look, a little bit of elbow grease and a whole lot of Rodico. Look where I got to. That's pretty decent. So there's still a little bit on the side here that I could probably work on. And yeah. Now another thing is, make sure your Rodico is clean Rodico, because if you've got material in that Rodico from doing other work, you could scratch the watch. So that's not too bad right there at all. So and I was able to remove the crazy fingerprint. So, and I know you guys are thinking, hey, Jay Dizzle from New York, that's your fingerprint from 10, 20 years ago. There we go. So that's that. Now I can unscrew this. Let me look at the size of the screwdriver I need. And I just want to pull this out like this. I want to put it in this time setting position. And then I want to just get in here with my screwdriver and loosen these screws. Again, when you're unscrewing the screws, go straight down. And wait till you hear a little bit of a tick, and that's when the thread is to its limit, right? So I didn't quite get the center of that one, and it just popped right out with me. So I'm going to see if I can clean the top of these screws as well, because they look a bit old. So I think I'll try to get rid of some of the corrosion on there. Another tool I have which is great for corrosion getting rid of. So I reach into my little tool bin and grab one of these pin vices, and then I can stick this in the pin vise. Hopefully it doesn't go all the way down, right? Like that. And that gets me access to the head of the watch, like this. And then I have a device here which is great for removing corrosion. If you want to get I recommend you pick up a 6240. It's a Breguet 6240, and it is a scratch brush like this with a pencil shape holder, so you can get rid of corrosion in the top like that, and you put a little bit out like this, and then you just do this on it and it will remove corrosion, which is really nice. So you just work at it like that. And if I had a screw head polishing device, I'd use it, but I don't think I do. I'd have to look in my tools again. But after a little bit of elbow grease again, let me just show you the result. I can also use 3000 grit sandpaper, which will give it a nice shine on the end, right? So anything more than that, it could scratch it, but it's stainless steel. So you look at this, look at the way it looks now. That's not too bad. Now the corrosion is gone from the head, and then 3000 grit sandpaper will scrub that up. So I'll just take these screws for now and dump them, leave this aside, and I'll try to remember to do that later because I want this movement to look really good, right? The other thing in this movement, it's very old, it's a very old vintage pocket watch movement, is that you can Rodico the movement like this as well to get rid of some blemishes from the movement and pick up some stuff, get rid of crud that's been on this watch for years and years. It's not a high-end movement, but it's this gentleman's from his family, right? So it's a family heirloom, which is more important than how high-end the movement is. So let me just drop this movement onto a pad. Let me grab a pad here. I need more space, so I'm going to sell a few amplifiers. I've got a Marshall 275 amplifier that's behind me, and I can use that space for watch work. And I've got a PV60 Bandit as well, and I can use that space for watch work. And I've decided I would invest in the Spark amplifier series, right? So those amplifiers are great, and let me see if I can get this up and out without causing an issue. I'm going to use the edge of the pad like this, and I'm not sure if it'll spill out for me, but let me just do that, and I'm going to push this with Rodico. Edge of the pad, man. This thing is stuck in place. Time to get a glove on. Time to get a glove on. So I'm not sure if you saw the movie The Planet of the Apes. I'm sure you have, but it's a pretty cool old movie. And in The Planet of the Apes, they have a spaceship in that movie. And that spaceship, it starred in a bunch of different versions of The Planet of the Apes. There we go. I'm able to just back that off like that and put this on my movement holder. And I'll just put this aside, and again, I could do work on the inside with my Rodico to shine that up, and some on this side here with those little marks, corrosion marks here, and the Rodico would actually remove that corrosion mark, I believe. Let me just do this really quickly and show you how that works. A little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of fingernail, a little more elbow grease, and let's see how far down I can get with this. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's still there though, so I still want to remove that later, but I'm going to put the case, just move the case out of the way, and I'm going to put some of the parts in the case here. It's what I like to do to get them out of the way. So I put the hands in here. The hands. I can put the hands on the other side, and then I'll put the case into a holder. These are nice hands actually, and I should be able to clean them up a little bit too. So there we go. So now things are in the case. They're out of the way a bit. Like I said, the crystal on this is glass, so I can glue that back in place after. And I may want to put the watch together, the bezel on, and then glue the crystal down. So the challenge now is going to be to get some of the power off this watch without breaking the mainspring, because it's a ridiculous amount of power on this thing right now. So let me see if I can toothpick this baby off. So I'm going to take this off to the side. I might put it in my Bergeron or my movement holder right now. What do you think? Yeah, I think I will. So I have a number of these, and I keep touting how good they are, and now they're hard to find. So this is a Myers number 58 movement holder. I really apologize, but I've got 4 of them. So I started hunting for them a while back, and every time I found one, I bought it. So the price has gone up and up and up. And before I start playing with the spring here, I just want to make sure that the face is protected. So I'm going to remove the face from this watch here. So let me just take some of the face screws and see if I can unscrew these. And they're really small, so you don't want to lose them, right? So I'll unscrew them and then screw them back in for washing. Just a couple of turns on each one of them. They're pretty small, though. They are pretty darn small. And I'm unscrewing this using my black screwdriver. And it's funny, I think there's a standard for these screwdrivers, because the black screwdrivers wow, this thing is soldered on here. Hasn't been out here in 100 years, I bet. The dial feet are like, they got sores on them. So you work that up with that screwdriver and then get a bigger bladed one. And just like my card magic, try to maintain the gap. See if this is going to come off. Not yet. I got to go over here again. You don't want to pull it off. You want to make sure the feet are clear, like that. There we go. And I got all 4 feet, which is nice, or 3 feet rather, which is nice. And I'll put those over on top of everything else, like that. And you can notice right away that nobody put a look at that, a hair. Nobody put a dial washer on this. So there it is there. So, and that's how the dial sort of slips out of place without a dial washer. Let me look and see what this thing is. It's riding up just a little bit, but I'm not worried about that right now. So I'm just going to pull this up and out of the way. This is an old watch, man. It's a very old watch. I'm going to take a picture of this thing because I don't want to be stuck in a situation where I don't remember how to reassemble it. So it's always a good idea to take a picture of the watch. This thing is in pretty shoddy condition, I'll say, right? Shoddy, if that's a word. But it is pretty, it's old, very old. That's the other thing too, is that do I remove these springs? Because I'm a little reluctant to remove these springs. If they snap, I'll never be able to find another one. So, but I can wash it in the wash machine with the spring still there. I just want to wind this, take the power off the mainspring here. So let me just put this watch in the holder here and make sure that the stem, the winding stem is exposed. So I can push this back and put that in place like that. And this is not a lever set watch, so I'm not too concerned there. And now I want to put a little bit of pressure. Let me tighten this up a bit and put a little pressure on here like that. And then if I can take the tension off of this thing without snapping it. This could be tricky. Oh, there we go. I got it. It's funny, when I take the mainspring off, you'll see what the actual power remaining, or whether the mainspring is set or not. But this thing, it's not too bad from a power perspective. It seems to be kicking nicely. But we'll see if we need to put a new mainspring in here. See if it's completely set, then I'll order a new mainspring. I get my mainsprings from cousins.uk because I can size them perfectly. So that's done. Good job, Mr. JD. It's always good to talk about yourself in the third person. That's a little sign of narcissism, I found. So if you're a narcissist or something, you're likely going to talk about yourself in the third, refer to yourself in the third person, making you more important than anybody. And there's my nice stick I use, and I'm just going to see if I can unscrew this. Shit, this thing is in tight. That's the thing about this watch, is that because it's so old, all the screws will be extremely tight. I'm going to put that in my little carrying case right now, and I can see if I can edge that out. There's a little opening right there, which I might be able to use to wedge that up. There we go. I got to watch that that it clears nicely, and I don't. There we go. That's good. And I'm just going to store this right here for now. I'm going to have to examine the impulse jewel at some point in time, but for now I'm just going to put this out of the way. Out of the way. I need to start a parts bin, because I will lose things unless I start a parts bin. But let's just, I'm going to disassemble. I'm going to see if I can loosen some of these wheels up here. This could be tricky. This could be tricky. Yeah, this could be a left-handed one, which means when you loosen it, you turn it the other way. I'm not sure. Not quite sure. Oh yeah, this is one that you loosen by turning it the opposite way. So it's a big pain in the butt, actually. It means, holy shit, this thing is in dire condition here. Oh, there we go. So the big pressure doing this is that the screw, you actually take the head off the screw, which I didn't want to do, and I didn't. So it turned out very good. So I'm very happy about that. These are the two things that worry me, these two screws. The other ones are usually not that bad, but when this, see how I turn that clockwise and it loosens it? So that's because it's usually it's because, when I look at this watch, the winding mechanism here usually have your barrel on this side, so it turns the opposite way. So I'm going to take a picture of this too, but look at the corrosion in this thing. Oh my God. That's why this gentleman sent it to me. Is there any way you can fix my watch? Well, this watch is going to be a job and a half. So I didn't know it was going to be this difficult. So usually it's $250 for a cleaning, but not if the watch is in this bad a condition. I'll just keep working on it here, right? Yeah, there we go. And the crown wheel, the ratchet wheel. See if I can lift this up. I'm trying to group my parts here a little bit. That's interesting. A little brass on the inside. That's I don't think I've seen that before. I usually leave the click spring on for the disassembly, but I'm gonna just see if I can. I don't want to. I'm gonna leave the pallet fork in position, but I'm gonna take this plate off up first, and it's gonna align the parts, baby. Align the parts. The thing is, when you unscrew the watch movement, when you unscrew the screws, you've got to do it with conviction. When you take that screwdriver and you move it, you've got to make sure you're doing it with conviction. If possible, to remove the plate, if you can get inside here with your screwdriver and twist up, this area is not visible. So if the person's showing the watch off to somebody, they're not going to see that area, right? So there we go. This is an old watch, but I'm going to put these plates and screws together, and now I just have to lift this up here. I'm going to take another photo of this just in case. So this is not what I would consider a watch cleaning. This would be considered a watch restoration based on the condition of the watch. So in order to take the wheels out here, I've got to remove these screws. I usually like doing them one at a time. I don't know why, but I've always done them one at a time. Just trying to get some parts out of the way here so I don't dirty things up, but I like to do them one at a time. so I can focus. Focus is not just a shitty car. My wife had a Focus for many years and we loved it. We called it the Dentmobile because she managed to accumulate quite a number of dents on the car over the years, to the point where I didn't care where it was parked anymore. It was basically the Dentmobile. Is that plate going to lift up? I'm trying to find a nice little lip here that I can use to lift the plate up. There we go. And on the edge here, perhaps. There we go. All right, I don't think I took the cannon pinion off the other side, so I might want to remove that cannon pinion before I pull this up. I'm a bad boy, Jerry. If I'm lucky, I can just pull it straight up, and if I'm not lucky, I got to get my cannon pinion removal tool, which I think I will do. I'm just going to place this face down for 2 seconds here and get my tool. Here we go. I just want to move this cannon pinion out of the way here, and I got some gears and stuff that I don't want to damage, so I should be able to pull that straight up and dump the cannon pinion, and there we go. And now I can take this, let me just put this back in here so it doesn't get in trouble, and I believe I can just lift this straight up. There we go. And I'll put that there, and then I'm going to grab some wheels and get them out of the way. So there's the center wheel, and I'm going to put the wheels way over there. There's the intermediate wheel, or the second wheel, or the third wheel actually, not the second wheel. And there is the fourth wheel, and there's the pivot for the fourth wheel where the second hand goes on. I'm just putting these wheels down safely. And there's the escapement wheel. Somebody corrected me a long time ago when I used to call it the escapement. He said, no, the escapement is everything. This is just the escapement wheel. So I'm just going to put that down there. And now I'm just going to pick up the mainspring, and we'll open that up in a second. This tool is excellent, by the way. If you happen to find one of these, pick it up for removing cannon pinions. It's a safe way. It grips the cannon pinion on all sides, and you don't have to worry about damaging the cannon pinion. So there. So I'm going to see if I can get the so this is a cock used for holding the pallet fork in place. It's interesting. Very interesting. So I'm looking around to see if there's a place I can use to wedge this up. So I guess if I got to go down a little further here. So if you hear some noise, that's me dropping my seat down, because I've been doing this in the up position the whole time. But I'm just looking under here, and I think I can just wedge a screwdriver right here and just turn it, and that should lift it. And look at that. There we go. And that pallet fork has been in there for 300 years, I think. All right, wedged it and did it, and then it went back down again. So we're going to have to grab it from this side with the tweezers, which is a little awkward for me because I'm a other side tweezer dude. And there we go. Now you see how long that pallet fork's been in there? It's stuck. That's the pallet fork stuck in the plate. And the best way to get that out is take the world's smallest screwdriver, which I have, and see if I can just put that between the pallet fork and the plate, like that, and just rotate that. And it should drop out, which would be nice, right? You don't want to put any pressure on that at all, because it could twist the pivot. That's not too bad. Now I'm going to grab a pin vise like this, and I'm going to grab the pivot for on the bottom, and then pull this thing straight back. See if I can do that. There we go. Look at that, eh? It came out nicely. And there is the pallet fork, my friends. I'm just going to put that down. There it is there, and the pivot is intact. No problems at all. And there is the cock used for the pallet fork. And I used a pin vise there to grab the end and pull it straight back so I wouldn't have any risk of bending the pivot. So that's that. Now let's have a look at this crazy mainspring. Is this going to cause me all kinds of issues? Perhaps. I want to put the this pallet fork over. I'm putting this over where the screw is for the other thing. So I'm putting the pallet fork and the cock fork in the same place. So here we go. And if I look at the way this is put together, it's got a lip on the top right there that catches it. So I'm interested to see what type of spring type this thing is. So I'm going to see if I can get this in here. No, I can't. So I'm going to see if I can get this in here. Yes, I can. I just have to put this in the barrel like that, and then just have to work the barrel out. That's all. And let me see if I can do that. Sometimes they just snap right out, and sometimes they become a problem. So I'm going to use my fingernail here and see if I can just work this barrel out. There we go. And I always take a picture of the barrel after I get it out. So let me just get my tweezers in here and see if I can lift that straight up. There it is. And there is the balance, or the mainspring rather. There's the barrel. So I'm going to put this like this and take a picture. Now the reason I take a picture is so I know which way this winds, right? So I'm hoping that the arbor will, the barrel will come out, and there's not going to be a big issue here. So I got to work the mainspring out here, and let me see if I can pull this up a bit and get my finger in there. There we go. And if I'm able to get that mainspring arbor out of the way, I will. And let me see, there it is, dumped. And this can only go one way, so I'm not too worried about that. And now I've got to reach in here and I got to walk the mainspring out. So I can't do that with gloves on. I don't care who you are. If I've figured out a way in life of walking that mainspring out with gloves on, God bless you. Now the question is the mainspring bigger than the movement size? Because if the mainspring is bigger than the movement, then it's set. If it's not, then we've got ourselves a decent mainspring. So I want to put my tweezers, and I should be able to get a grip on this and pull it out a bit. Let's see if I can get my fingernail under here. I like when my thumbnail is actually really big, then it's a lot easier. I may have to get a pair of sometimes I can reach in with my guitar playing fingernails and grab the damn thing, but not today. That's a different type of sometimes. Come on, don't be a pain. Just grab it like that and then try to, I need to get a different pair of tweezers, I think, to allow me to do this. I'll be back. Pliers, baby. Pliers. That way I can just come in like this and then lift straight up like this. I want to get enough of it so I can walk it out. There we go. Come on. And now I get my fingernail in here and then just start walking this thing out. Once you get it past a certain point, then you can start walking it out. And there we go. So now I got it past that point, and I can just step around like this. It's not easy to do this, by the way. It takes time and patience, and you want to try not to cone the mainspring as you're walking it out, right? So there we go. I'm starting to get it. And you can see that this thing is friggin' set. It's been there for 300 years. So let's see if it's bigger than the movement, though, because that is what I was told. If it's not bigger than the movement, then you're good to go. I think we may be good to go. And I can see the type of mainspring that is with the tab on it on the end, and you can see on the edge of the barrel the hook on the barrel. So that's a nice hook. That's a genuine hook. So this is bigger than the movement. So I can use this. Now I can stretch this out again some more, but I can likely use this. But what I'll do is I'll clean this watch, and I'll put everything in the cleaner, and I'll clean it up nicely, and then I'm going to check out. Basically, I want to see what kind of power I get when I reassemble this watch. But you can see the condition of the plate here is pretty bad, right? Let me grab this mainspring so I don't get my fingers on it. Yeah, let me move that out of the way, but you can see the condition of the plate. Pretty nasty, I'd say. So I might be able to clean some of this up with my Bergeron scraper here, because if you look at the corner there, and if I work on that like this, look at that, cleans it right up. So I can probably work on this for a while to clean all the corrosion off the movement plates first before I put it into the cleaning machine. Look at that. It's a thing of beauty, man. So it's going to take a little while to clean up, but I will work on this. And there we go. And there should be a before and after of this thing, right? But I'm going to do a little work on this, and I'm going to make my video, and I will see you later. That's a disassembly of this very old Elgin pocket watch. Very old. I'll have to bring up the number here, but it's the number is on this pocket watch. If you want to look it up, it's 28320642. 28320642. So I'm just going to spend some time cleaning this up. I'll basket this thing, but I'll likely wash it. I might wash it tonight. We'll see. I might do it on the next weekend. I'm not sure. But that's it. That's the disassembly of this Elgin pocket watch. I hope you enjoyed the video. And we'll just spend some time working on this plate here and see if I can get it looking a little bit better. Let me just turn this off and then turn it back on to show you the after. So there's the before. Ugly. And I'm going to show you the after. Take a good look at that. And there we go. That's a lot better. I'm just going to actually take a piece of 300 grit sandpaper to get rid of any scratch marks, and that should just smoothen it right out. But I'm going to take a look at the other side. And I should also be able to remove this winding mechanism here nice and easily. There we go. And there's a lot of gum in there from the past. Sins of the past. Tons of gum in there from the past. Look at that crap in there. And it's good that I just use this little device first, because even though the washing machine is pretty damn good, a little bit of elbow grease to get rid of the crud that's in here for 100 years of. It doesn't look like there's any marks of servicing on this watch at all, so it may have been stuck in a drawer for 80 of its 100 years. So I'm just gonna work on that a little bit, right? Wowie zowie zowie zowie. We flip this thing around now, and there we go. And look at the look on this. So take a look at that. I'm gonna have to take a picture of a before and after of that as well. All right, now I'm going to start working on this, but this is like really corroded, so I'm hoping that at the end of this I'm able to get rid of all of the corrosion on here, because it's got 100 years of corrosion, so I might not be able to make it look perfect, but I can make it look pretty damn good. I'll show you half of it once I get this thing done. The nice thing here is there's little knurly lines. There's lines on this thing that I can follow with the brush, so that you can't see scratches, which is kind of cool. This is giving my brush a workout for sure. Just keep working on this and you'll see the difference in a second. And I don't think I want to polish the back of this on a pad or anything, because it's hidden behind it's hidden behind the dial, so there's no need. I just want to get rid of the corrosion so it's frictionless. Now you see the difference. You can see the difference here, right? That's the difference. It's a little bit of elbow grease, and look at that. It's nicely cleaned up. So I'm going to work on the other side and get this thing in good shape. I think that's it for the video today, though, and I'll just put this up and you guys can comment on it. But look at this old watch. It's going to look good when I'm finished.